Hey guys, gals, and MBs. I'm here today with 3 analog delays. Well, one is really analog and 2 are imposters. Oh no. But yeah, so the first thing I want to get out of the way, the Strymon Brig was given to me way back when they first came out, actually before they came out. So I was one of the first people to have one of these. Awesome delay. I just need to state that. So I do, if you feel any bias, there may be some, but I don't know because I like them all and you'll hear my opinions on all of them. Yeah, that said, I'm using my new favorite analog synth, and that's the Take 5. It's not my favorite synth. I still think that the Novation Peak's my favorite, but this is my new favorite analog synth. So yeah, let me stop talking and let's get into what it sounds like. I'm using a patch here I made that's a analog Celesta patch, so... And it's a lovely patch, and you can hear why I love this synth so much. But yeah, so I guess we'll start with the Brig. I got these kind of set up close enough. The Brig is a little hard to set up in its ping pong, I should say, mode, or it's not true stereo. The one thing I will throw out now, the Brig is the only pedal here that isn't true stereo. It sums to mono before it adds a stereo signal. The dry through is fully stereo and it doesn't sum that, but the wet signal is summed, so be aware of that. The other two are true stereo pedals. But yeah, so, and it's hard to get the ping pong just right on this because this has the upper hand out of all the two that it can automatically calculate golden ratio. You can kind of do golden ratio on this between the two taps, but you have to manually do it or try and do it by ear. And this one's just kind of like standard subdivisions, whole note and quarter note and things like that. But yeah, that said, my Celestia patch, and we'll start with the Brig because it does actually sound wonderful, even though I did get it for free. I use it a lot if you see in my videos because I just love the sound of it. Okay, so let's go into the things that I like about all of them. They all have their strengths, obviously, and they all have their weaknesses. The Brig's biggest weakness is its sum to mono functionality. Its two major strengths are that golden ratio tap mode and the multi-mode, which it's ethereal sounding because you get this, it mushes this signal into this lovely pad texture. And it's truly just ambient and wonderful. And you throw something like the Strymon Cloudburst or the Night Sky in after it, or the Walrus Audio Slower, and it just comes to life. I mean, it is by itself, and the modulation is wonderful on it. It is The only thing I don't like over the original Brigadier that it replaced is you don't have the bucket loss functionality anymore. The filter does it all in one, so you can't really get super gritty textures out of it. It's very clean sounding. It kind of emulates that distortion, but if you heard very carefully, the Meraki obviously has Bucket Brigade style distortion because it's a Bucket Brigade device, and the Starlight emulates that pretty well. The Brig has a little bit of distortion, but I think it tries to play nicer and a little cleaner, at least in the multi-mode. But yeah, it washes into this lovely, just modulated, like, just niceness. The Meraki, on the other hand, true Bucket Brigade device, it's very, I'm not going to say quiet. Obviously, it's not. It has the volume level isn't the thing. It's very noise free for a real thing. So I had the DM101. This replaced the DM101. That's also a Bucket Brigade device delay, but this thing is filtered and voiced so nicely that you don't get very much. Oh, let me get that in. You get very, very nice, clean repeats on it, even though it is BBD, but not too clean, obviously. You get that distortion. So yeah, listen to this. Listen to the distortion. I'll stop talking now. Just that lovely filtering. The modulation is wonderful. There's not much bad to say about the Meraki other than its price tag and its lack of headroom. Lack of headroom makes sense, and so does its price tag. I mean, somebody's got to sit there and manually calibrate all the Bucket Brigade devices. You have to get them. You have to build it into a device. Yeah. The Brig is the cheapest out of the bunch. That doesn't make it any of the least. Actually, my two favorite ones are these two. And the Starlight is these are very comparable in terms of what I would use them for and what I do use them for in music. The Starlight is a little too, I don't know how to put it. It's not my favorite. I do use it in a pinch. It's not terrible. The tape mode, the EP3 is mainly what I keep this around for, though that analog man delay mode is pretty cool, or the deluxe memory man, analog man, that's a different company. But yeah, the analog mode on this is okay, but I keep it around for the tape mode. So yeah, listen to this one. This one does a good job of emulating that distortion. Especially when you crank the color, which is the preamp drive. Modulation's pretty wonderful on it too. That is, it's the best analog Bucket Brigade delay I've ever heard, like ever. So yeah, this gets high marks. But the Brig, for an emulation, it's not super authentic in the multi-mode. In the other modes, I'll kick over to the other mode. It's a little more authentic. In the multi-mode, it's its own thing. It's not trying to emulate something else. This is obviously trying to emulate a deluxe memory man. That is trying to emulate. That doesn't emulate anything. That's its own thing. The multi-mode on this is its own thing. But yeah. This has the magic that the Dig does, but with analog voicing. And in a tiny form factor. As you can see, it has the tiniest form factor. That does come at a price, though. That means you need TRS adapters to TS or some kind of, breakouts in order to get stereo out of it. Which, honestly, if you're going, don't get any of these if you're running them in mono. That's just my opinion. Maybe the Starlight, because it's got a very, very authentic EP3 mode. I mean, it's like for a digital pedal, it's pretty authentic. All right, let's go into the other mode. This has stereo, but it's not a ping pong style. The stereo is coming from the modulation. It's a little more authentic to a real Bucket Brigade device. It's a little clean, though. But you get a little more distortion. Especially at higher repeats. You can hear a little bit of crackling and distortion there. That's the bucket loss happening, a little bit of headroom distortion, things like that. If you go back to the multi, though, that's, like I said, that's where it really shines. Absolutely gorgeous. All right, let's go ahead and hear some pad sounds through them all. Very bright, but from what I've never actually had a deluxe memory man. I've had a clone, and I remember it being pretty bright and very aliased. Obviously, sorry, I wasn't by the microphone, but obviously these two have tone controls. Which they can get pretty bright. But where's the fun in that? You want that dark sound. At least I like the dark nature of analog style delays. It's funny calling the Meraki an analog style delay because, again, it really is. You know what it is? I think these two just excel at modulation. This one can get really insane. but yeah, it's still lovely. Back to the Meraki. I have another Pluck. Is this the right one? No, that's the one we've been using. This is another Pluck patch. Let's use this for our last bit of comparison. Okay, this one kind of excels at this patch. I still don't like it as much as either of the other two, but the bright nature with a little bit of distortion, let's add a little bit more drive. At all. Still, the Brig and the Meraki. The funny thing about the Brig is, though, Strymon's pretty much known for having a clean, pristine sound on most of their pedals, and they're very bright and very they push towards the high frequency. I shouldn't use audiophile terms, obviously, but they have a very sheeny sound, especially up in the upper mids and the high frequency. The Brig actually doesn't. I mean, even with the filter fully open, it's still very mellow. But on the other hand, the real analog, even filtered, is a little brighter on some of the upper frequencies. Maybe it has to do with the companding. But yeah. You can really hear the clock noise and the aliasing. It's very crunchy. But gorgeous. Yeah, a little lifeless on the Starlight there. Which I definitely wouldn't expect for how expensive it is. If you need a beautiful analog wash, those two together, I mean, yeah, that's a very pricey proposition, but it's gorgeous. But yeah, the Brig just excels at analog washes. Get really high repeats going. The Meraki it's the same in terms of washiness. It can really get there. I mean, it doesn't have as much decay time without getting to self-oscillation, which you can calibrate that on the Meraki. There's some values you can change in, when you take the back cover off. I'm not touching that. I love how it's voiced. But yeah, so the winner for me is hard to say. The Starlight it's there, it's okay, it sounds good, it does a very good analog, like the Deluxe Memory Man style emulation. It's a little bit on the brighter alias side, it has the lower headroom because that's really what it's emulating. It does a good job. It's very good. It's not my favorite for an analog context. Maybe if you're a guitarist and you like that sound, like classic rock sounds. For an ambient context, the Meraki is, if you didn't have to put a price tag on a delay, the Meraki just is excellent, but so is the Brig. And the Brig is, again, the cheapest out of the lot. I wish that Strymon would bring a secondary function to the filter knob so you can bring back bucket loss. I think if this could get a little crunchier, it would be amazing. But overall, the voicing, especially in that multi-mode, is extremely hard to beat. It's very hard to beat. Gorgeous. Alright, of course we have to have one of our boneheaded neighbors with our loud vehicle come by while I'm doing this. I'm not going to edit that out because we're almost done with this, but yeah, you know, those kind of neighbors. Anyway, yeah, these all sound pretty good. I should say this is pretty good. These are excellent. These are like S tier. This is maybe a B plus tier when it comes to analog emulations. But yeah, thanks for watching. I hope this was informative to you. Out of all of them, the Meraki and the Brig really do it for me. The Starlight's okay. Again, I keep it around. It's a good utility pedal. The Take 5 is excellent. Geez, it's just so hard to use other synths besides this and the Peak. Though the Pro 800 by Behringer is also a really phenomenal synth, and that will be my next video. So that'll be coming out. I haven't done a video on it by itself. I have used it a few times, but it hasn't been in a full video by itself. So I'll be using some pedals with that, going over what I like about it. And yeah, again, thanks for watching. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, and you like my kind of content, go ahead and subscribe. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. Yeah, see you next time.